Okay, in this video, what I'm going to do is a composition session on Ableton Live 9.6, but using the Maschine Mark II template. So this is the controller script template that's been recently updated by Lee on my underground music production group. And so it works really well. So you're going to see a particular composition technique being used using the controller and Ableton Live. So the other thing that I'm going to be doing is taking a look at sample library. So this is another one from the company A Bit Deeper, and this is a dub techno library. So we're going to take a look at that. So let me just build up an idea. Let's see how it goes. I'll just keep everything running, and it's probably going to be quite informal. So drum rack, let me just start off here with the beats, and let's come down to that sample pack. The drum hits folder here, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take a look inside the kicks, and let me have a listen through these. Okay, I'm going to bring this one through. And if I go to the pad mode, that's available here on the first pad. Let's get another one. Looking for some contrast so you can basically hear that there's a difference between those two. One's more punchy, another one's kind of more subtle, warmer. So there's a contrast in tone, a contrast in energy. Now that's actually a nice kick as well. Okay, let me see what else we got. There's something nice about this. Another warm tone there. Okay, there's something quite nice about that. Just going to change that start position here. Okay, let me get something recorded in. I think I'm getting vibey on that already. Let me go to the pattern here. So this is going to allow me to record something in. And let's just get this going. I didn't actually turn my metronome on so that it's continuously playing. So I have no idea whether I actually got anything in time there. Let me just take a look. I'm going to take the loop brace over here, and I'm just going to do Command A, Command U to quantize it. Let me have a listen. Okay, that's really nice. The other thing I'm going to do is push the tempo button and rotate to the right to speed it up a bit. Okay, so we're running at about 126 BPM, 127, just seeing how that feels. So you can already see the integration of the Maschine controller template with Ableton Live 9.6. This is working really nicely. Okay, so that's cool. So let me bring some more samples on. Let me take a look at the percussion. Okay, now I like that. Let me get the drum rack back. Okay, so just want to get this so that we can overdub. I might set this to be quantizing on the way in. So we're going to do record quantization, and I'll just get it straight up 16ths for the moment. Let's take a look at my playing in there. Going to quantize that. That's working nicely. More samples. Okay. I've just taken it out of loop there because, you know, the auditioning happens at the beginning of the beat. And, sorry, beginning of the bar. And I just wanted to hear this stuff straight away. Okay, I like that. Okay, I might get that in. The overdub. I need to find the button for the overdub instead of me having to do this all the time. So that exists on the template, but I don't know every feature of the template. All right, bear that in mind. Yeah, that's working really nicely. I'm just going to reduce the level on that one. Okay, all right then. Back to the drum rack. Let's see if we've got anything else on the percussion tip. Okay, there's something nice about these two. Do you know what? I need to find that button for the overdub. Ah, that's crazy. That was the first one that I pushed. Perfect. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, I like that. Just gonna bring the level down. Now, I don't know if this is gonna end up being a dub techno track. I've got no idea. I can't really class myself as an expert on that genre. So next up, let me find something else. Okay, claps. I quite like that. It sounds almost kind of like a real clap. Right, that's sounding good. Maybe another clap. Maybe this one. Okay. Just going to bring the level down. Okay. Right. What else do I think I want to do here? Let me take this. Let me just try hi-hats. Now, something I want to try actually is the note repeat to see if that's working on here. There we go. Wicked. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm holding that down, but I'm pushing the pad in different ways. So it's kind of like putting the pressure on to create the variation in velocity. So we'll see how that feels. Yeah, I like that. And I might use that note repeat. Now we found out that it works really nicely. I might use that on something else. Maybe a ride. No, it's going to be a little bit too obvious. Maybe a snare. Let me see. There's quite a dull tone to that. This is quite bright. There's a little contrast. I've just dragged that too far up. Let me just bring this down. And where are we? Let's do this here. Yeah, maybe. Okay, there's some aspects of that I like, some that I don't. So let me find that. Is it over here, the top one? Take away that one on the one. That's good. All right. So what we've got is a beat that I've laid down. I've used the pad mode here to trigger the samples. And I used the note repeat to get that nice kind of rhythmic pattern playing. So I think it's working quite well. So I've got my first element down. And what we've got is this thing here. We can push select and then push to go to the next track. So you can see I'm selecting the next one. And what I want to do with this is to load up a simpler. So we're going to go to instruments and load up simpler. And I want to drop in one of these other library samples. So let me take a look at moving away from the drum hits and look at these chord stabs. Maybe I should audition these on top of the beat. Something quite nice about that. Let me bring this on. Now, one of the things about this is that the tuning is incredibly low there. I need to work out, there may be on these pages here, where are we? So tempo, I don't want to do that. Volume, swing. I want to get access to the tuning. So just going through here, let's have a look. So we've got transpose on the clip level, octave. Let me just take this up, see if this works. See if I can go higher. No, I think that this is related to the scale. So we can see here C4 to chromatic. This may be that it's one of the features on the template that's not working. This is still a work in progress. In terms of getting the controller template working with Ableton Live 9.6, there have been a couple of tweaks that Lee has made. So maybe this is something that is not quite ready just yet. Let me just see if there are any other sections on this template. I don't think so. The alternative actually is if I was to place one of the live MIDI effects, so pitch. Let me place this before. Let me just take it up a bit higher. There we go. Let me just see what happens. This is being warped at the moment. I'm going to take that off. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that now. Let me just try another chord. Okay, let me see if we can get that overdub working and get the pattern on the go. Okay, let me try this again. So, pattern. There's the first one. So look, this is my fault. It's here. I need to just push this. Pad mode, pattern. No, maybe this is not one of the script issues. Let me just come over here. I'm going to trigger it manually and let's see what happens. Okay, right, back to the beginning. Set my loop brace. Okay. You know what I'm going to do is adjust those note lengths and let's get these and see what's going on. So we've got the short and long. Okay, it's working quite nicely. But what I'm thinking about doing is actually making these the same note lengths. Let me bring this in. That's not the same length, is it? That's just a little bit out. Let me do this over here. Okay, that's a bit better, I think. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an effect on top of this. So we're going to come to audio effects and let's just drop in the reverb. Let's take the decay time out. Let's bring the volume down a bit. All right. And that's good, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to duplicate that. And now I'm going to take away the clip and change the sample and see what we got. Okay. I'm hearing a couple of glitches. You know, I'm recording the screen at the same time as all this stuff going on. So yeah, look, my buffer size. I'm going to take this up a bit because I want to make sure we've got good audio quality going on. And let's have a listen again. Okay. And the same technique again, just going to duplicate that particular stab, take away the clip, make sure we're transmitting on here, and this time with the simpler, just flip down to another sample. Okay, that's actually quite nice. Okay, so this one's really quite high. Okay. That's better. I might delay that out a bit. Ping pong delay. There we go. It's got a real nice dubby vibe to it. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to move this down. So we're using basically the scenes to move between the structure. So let me show you what I mean. We go to scene here. So that's the first scene. And then we go to the next. And actually what's going on is I think the record enable is overriding the switching. So it could be another thing to work on with that script. Yeah, so it looks as if the scene switching is not behaving quite right still. I know that Lee made an update with that. So what's usually supposed to happen is the scenes are supposed to flip. And so we'd go between rows. So I'll show you here what I mean. So first scene and then switch. Oh, in fact, I didn't turn that one on, did I? Let me see if we can go back. Maybe something here is influencing that. No. Okay, so scenes don't seem to be working still. Let me try it again. So literally, this is what I was doing. So let me just exaggerate it actually. If we select all of these and move these down, somehow I didn't see they were not selected. Let me just bring this one here make a copy of that. So holding down the Alt key to make the copy. Let me see, first scene. So that's the start, and then next. So of course this is a way to build up a structure, and then building that extra texture, the rhythmic element in there. And you can see that the scene light is switching here, but it's just not responding. But even so, you can still see that the integration is working just well enough for me to still enjoy using the hardware controller here. Of course, having something like Push is the ultimate because it's totally integrated with Ableton Live. But as you guys know, I don't have a Push at the moment. I would love to have one, once again, Ableton. So then I would get the true integration between the two. And that whole kind of composition process of, you know, basically triggering patterns, scenes, etc. is all going to be absolutely lovely. Right, okay, this is working. So why don't I take that scene and duplicate that? So you've seen that the whole row's been duplicated there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away that rapid one. Let me get that right. Is it this one that's the rapid one? Oh, let me just make sure we've got the right scene. There we go. I should be labeling these clips, but I'm just, as you can see, I'm just vibing with it and working forward. I want to get like a bass line going now. All right, so let me take away these two audio tracks for the moment. Let's get another MIDI track. And in fact, why don't I just take this, duplicate this, take these all away. And on this next row, in fact, this one, I'll bring in another sample. So here, let's come up, instead of the bass chords, let's go to the bass notes. Okay, this one sounds quite nice actually. Back to pad mode. Okay, make sure that I've got my record enabled on. I'm not hearing anything on that one at the moment. Let me just check. Using the keyboard here on the Mac. Okay, yeah, so something's still not quite right with the MIDI control script. Let me just try something here. I'm curious. If I just switch this from none to machine, we could potentially reinitialize this. So maybe this is what's necessary. Let's go back onto pad. So look, that's working now. Let me just quickly try my scenes, see whether these work. There we go. And then next scene. By the way, with this controller template, we can take these elements and we can solo them. Look at that. And then back in. So, back in business now with the scene switching. So here's where I want to do my bass. So, still down a little bit too low here. I need to work out how I can transpose it, but for the moment I'm going to take it up octave. Tuning seems a little bit out there actually. Let me just try another sample for the moment, and also it's got tons of effects on it. Let me take off the ping pong delay. Take the reverb off. Okay, let me come back and let's go on to this track. Let's get something recorded. So I've got a couple running here. See if we can do it here. So that clip is now in record mode. Okay, let me pick the best out of them. And in fact, I think I'm going to need to take the octave lower. Just going to select all of those, shift and then down. And let's get it triggering from the beginning. Okay, let me see what's up. Okay, somehow my loop has just got flipped. Let me bring this over here. Is that too low? Is that what it is? Yeah, oh it did. So look, that was because I couldn't hear it. I was getting a bit confused there. Once again, it's quite late in the day. I've done a full day at work and I'm doing this business, so easy to make mistakes. Okay, I think that note is wrong. There we go. I like what's going on there, but I'm going to try one of the other bass sounds. See how that sits. Maybe try that reverb again. So it feels quite dubby. I like that. Let's take the reverb decay time down a bit. I feel like I need to have those bass notes going on for a bit longer. Let's take the release out. Yeah, I like that. So we've got, so far, a selection of scenes. These are doing their own thing. So intro, and then the next one. So this is almost like kind of building up to section when we drop and we get the bass line. Okay, now for this, I'm going to take away that other stab. So we're going a bit deeper. What could be good is if we get a new MIDI track. And if we drop in one of these other samples. So let me just get another instrument. We're going to go for simpler on here. And back onto the sample list. Pads, I think. So I'm looking for like a contrast on this section. I quite like this. Let me see how that feels. That's in there. Back to the pad mode. That's quite nice. So I think I'll get that in. Let me come back to this pattern section. Let's move this over. Where is that? Actually, it's over here, isn't it? So back up. And that's going to be this particular pattern, I think, isn't it? Let me just check the lights are on. So it's going to be down here, in fact. So I'm going to get that recorded in. Let me just remember what it was. Okay, it's that. So here we go. Once again, maybe there's something I'm doing wrong here. Scene, let's come back onto this. Yeah, let me just do it from here. So see, there are still some things that I'm learning about this particular controller script template. And also there are potentially a couple of little bugs in here. So don't worry too much. Let me record this in. And I'll do so by just clicking on the clip here. So that'll be that, and that's going to loop. Let's have a listen. going to fix up the velocities. There was a bit of a discrepancy in level there. I want these all to be the same. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that pad on the next one down and then duplicate this. Take this one, duplicate that down, and this as well. So that's a progression more so on the next scene. So over here, so we strip down to the bass line, and then we go into the section with the pad. Okay, that's working nicely. Maybe we need another pad element, so I've duplicated that again. Let's change the sample. Make sure I'm on the right track for selection. What I'm going to do, in fact, on this one is take the octave up, and let's just do this. That's nice. I'm going to take the warping off. Nice. Now that actually could be the next section. Let me just see how this feels here. Okay, so if what I could do is take this one down, and this, we've got ourselves a new scene. Okay, got another situation where the velocities are varying. I'm going to bring that one up, and let me add some effects to this. I'm probably going to go for another reverb here, so get some big kind of splashy space onto that. Yeah, I like it. So let's see the scene before. It's a little bit dominant, that pad. I tell you, one of the things I'm feeling about that pad is the fact that it feels a bit too heavy, the bottom end. So I'm going to roll off that. Let's just take this down, and probably maybe about, I don't know, 200. Okay, and then to the next scene. Here we go. Yeah, that works. And then maybe this short stab that we had before can be a little progression. So next scene. Yeah, that works nicely. So I think we've built up a nice little idea there. You've seen the whole thing about using the controller template with Ableton Live 9.6. And what I'll do now is just show you how you can put all of that stuff together into a structure. And it's really quite simple. I'm just coming back to the beginning here, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to push record, and this is going to run with the first scene. And then we're going to switch it, and I'm going to flip over to the arrange view so you can see the structure being built up, okay? See those elements there? We're going to let it run as it is. Switch to the next scene. There we go. You see the structure being built up in the background. I'm going to get ready to switch to the next scene. And of course we can go and do some edits, take out some elements and stuff like that after. But this is a really nice vibey way to put the composition down. Could have done with some atmospherics, maybe some kind of whooshes or kind of textures. But this is working well. Maybe some kind of fill element to introduce where the pad comes in. I'm just going to let it run for a bit. This is the thing about when you're actually playing this stuff and performing it, you get more of a gut instinct about how the structure should flow. So we're going to switch into the next section. So you could hear there, we really should have had a little transition, but we can put those kind of elements in after. Okay, going to switch to the next one. And probably what I'm going to do in a second is switch back to this one here. Okay, well look, there we go. So you can see this has all been put in here. Just going to click the icon here so that we've got this overriding control now. So we're not having the session view and control anymore. This is literally running things. So we've built up a really nice little improvised structure, you know, just kind of played on the fly. And you could see there that I was kind of feeling certain elements and letting them run for longer periods. And that's the whole advantage of working in this way. What I would do afterwards is have a separate session, maybe even take a break and come back another time, and then start working on the finer details, you know, maybe taking out a kick here and there, maybe adding some effects and transitions and so on to make it really flow. So anyway, there's a little insight into using a controller with Ableton Live, using the whole kind of concept of putting in patterns and musical elements, switching those through the whole concept of the scene, you know, these rows of elements. So yeah, once again, if you have any questions, just give me a shout, and if I've got time, I'll get back to you.